say if we're going out, I would have to have conversations with my son, like, okay, identify a safe space, because he's aware that he's autistic. And he tells me, like, Mommy, I hate when people stare at me. So I'm like, okay, how can we help you out? So I'll say, like, if we're going to a family member's house or something like that, where's a safe space? And if he says it's my car, and if he comes to me and say, Mommy, can I go to the car? I know he's overstimulated without drawing attention to himself. So every day is a new adventure. With the new adventure, it's a new blessing. It's a new learning lesson. So I also talk to other parents who children are on a spectrum to help them out, because my son can tell you what his thought process is as he's having a meltdown, or when things overstimulate him. He'll tell me, like, Mommy, pay attention because I'm giving you signs and symptoms. I might can't speak at that point because I'm overstimulated, but if you pay attention, I'm showing you with my facial expression, or the way my hands are moving, or the way my eyes are looking. So it makes you like so aware. So it's become a tremendous blessing.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Autism in Black podcast. I am your host, Maria Davis-Pierre, licensed mental health counselor and the CEO and founder of Autism in Black, Inc. And today I am here with Tia Howard, who is a dedicated family team meeting facilitator at the Child and Family Services Agency in Washington, D.C., bringing over 23 years of experience in supporting children and families. A passionate advocate and connector, Tia is committed to creating collaborative spaces that empower families to thrive. She is a devoted wife and proud mother of 2. In July of 2024, one of her children was diagnosed with autism, which inspired her to dive deeper into understanding autism, accessing resources, and building connections within the autism community. I hope you enjoy today's episode. Hi, and welcome back to another episode of the Autism in Black podcast. I am very excited about this episode, so let's get into it. Tia, welcome to the Autism in Black podcast. You've been working in family systems for over 20 years, but now you're also navigating autism as a parent. Can you start by sharing how your child's diagnosis shifted your perspective, both personally and professionally?
Sure. So my son, AJ, his real name is Antonio. So depending on what atmosphere you in, he will correct you. Sometimes he goes by AJ, sometimes he go by Antonio. But my son was born in 2017 and I had a daughter in 2014. So with being in the social work field, I just assumed by me having an older child that my son would catch on quicker than my oldest daughter. So initially, my son, as he was younger, he was just like a typical child. Then I started to notice certain things. I started to notice he wasn't talking. I started to notice that if he wanted something, he would just point, or he'll walk me, like take my finger, walk me over and drag my finger to point to certain things. So I'm thinking at this time, my daughter is 3, they're 3 years apart, that she's in school, that he would pick up on language quicker, he would pick up on his alphabets and things like that quicker, and he didn't. And I noticed around when he was like, I would say like 15 months old, he would do stuff like line his cars in a straight line. He would put his face to the carpet to make sure they were lined exactly the same. And if you kick one of them or touch one of them, he will go berserk. I noticed that he became a picky eater. I noticed that he was infatuated like with the solar system at a very young age. So at 17 months old, I got him evaluated. I live in Maryland, probably like 30 miles outside of Washington, D.C. And I had him get evaluated through Maryland Infant and Toddlers. So at that point, they were working with him on his speech. So during that time, they were also teaching him sign language as well. So eventually I enrolled him in daycare, and he would know his color. So if you ask him, what is a color blue? He would go and point to something, but he wouldn't say what the word is. So during COVID, my daughter was in tutoring, and that's how I knew my son can read, because we were going over different words, and out of the blue my son started saying the words. But he would do stuff like he would flap his wrist, he would make this humming noise. He didn't like to be around a whole bunch of noise, a whole bunch of people, and he was still infatuated with the solar system. The solar system's turned into airplanes. So I remember last year I was watching a podcast, and it was a guest that was on a podcast, and she said as an adult that she was just recently diagnosed with autism. So I'm like, could this be what's possibly going on with my son? So I began to get him evaluated, was calling different agencies to try to get him evaluated, and he was evaluated last year in July of 2024. So when I received the official diagnosis, even in my heart of heart, I knew it was devastation. Like, here it is, I'm working with parents or, individuals that's dealing with this diagnosis, and now I have to come home and try to navigate it as well. So I say, my son, it was devastation to a blessing, because it taught me to think outside of the box as a parent. So I know when, say, if we're going out, I would have to have conversations with my son, like, okay, identify a safe space, because he's aware that he's autistic. And he tells me, like, Mommy, I hate when people stare at me. So I'm like, okay, how can we help you out? So I'll say, like, if we're going to a family member's house or something like that, where's a safe space? And if he says it's my car, and if he comes to me and say, Mommy, can I go to the car? I know he's overstimulated without drawing attention to himself. So every day it's a new adventure. With the new adventure, it's a new blessing. It's a new learning lesson. So I also talk to other parents who children are on a spectrum to help them out, because my son can tell you what his thought process is as he's having a meltdown, or when things overstimulate him. He'll tell me, like, Mommy, pay attention, because I'm giving you signs and symptoms. I might can't speak at that point because I'm overstimulated, but if you pay attention, I'm showing you with my facial expression, or the way my hands are moving, or the way my eyes are looking. So it makes you, like, so aware. So it's become a tremendous blessing.
Your story is so similar to a lot of stories, similar to my story, similar to other parents in the community's story. And when it comes to Black parents, so many of us are left to navigate this journey without the support that we need. What has building a support system look like for your family, and what advice would you give others just starting the process?
So, transparent moment. My son was diagnosed in July. I didn't tell my family until March.
Okay.
Because, culturally, we as Black people feel as though there's nothing wrong with him. He's just acting out. Just pray for him and he's going to be okay. And at that point, I didn't want to deal with those emotions, because I was trying to process it yourself, because you do go through a stage of loss and grief. You do, because as a parent, each parent, we have a vision when you're pregnant, when you're carrying your child, what you want your child to be. Like, oh, I envision my child is going to do this. And then when you get this diagnosis, you like, okay, they can still do it, but it might take some more time, some more effort, some more services. So I didn't want to deal with that. So when I finally disclosed to my parents and my family as a whole, they were very receptive. They will call, like, my mother is aware that my son does not like the rain. So any day that it's rainy or it's cloudy, it's going to be a challenging day for him. So she will call and be like, well, how was AJ today? How was he in school? Or so that's a blessing. I know I joined a lot of social media groups, and to hear other people's stories and to hear how people come together and say, oh, well, try this or try that. Also, my son is linked to ABA services. So his RBT worker is a tremendous help. Tremendous. My son refers to her as his best friend. So to see their relationship, and sometimes I will call her crying like, I need your help. I'm lost. I don't know what to do. And I'm able to be vulnerable with her and say, okay, I don't know. Even though I'm in a social work field, there's still stuff that I'm learning every single day. So that it's to have a village, that it's been a tremendous help.
A village can truly make or break someone. I think as a clinician, how I viewed autism and the work that I do is completely different than living it not only as a parent but also as an autistic individual. I think back oftentimes before my daughter got her diagnosis, and I was like, oh, I might have been failing some people out here because I didn't have the experience of knowing what the actual process of the feelings of going through it was like. So I always say it's an added benefit now having that personal side, because I can relate. I know that the systems fail us every day. I know that there are people working in the system who don't quite understand the full magnitude of what that day to day is like. So having that support system of individuals who can be like, I get it, I understand, I'm there for you, I understand how to be there for you, is so crucial. We know in Autism in Black that our community is essential. What role have friends, professionals, or community organizations played in helping you feel less alone as a parent?
Support. Like I said, they will call. I know also I'm in a band. So my band members, like if we're practicing and I'm like, hold on, y'all, I have to take this call because it's from my son's school. When I come back into the room, they're like, are you okay? Do you need anything? And I'm like, no, I appreciate it. My family, tremendous support. My church is a tremendous support, because I think with me growing up, it was very challenging for me to be vulnerable, because as I was growing up, if you're vulnerable, it was a sign of weakness to me. So it's hard for me to open up and to be emotional in front of people when it pertains to both of my children, just not even my son, but both of my children. So to know that I could go to somebody and just bear it all and say, okay, well, today was challenging. Today was tough. Today I'm tired. Today I don't want to do anything. Today I just want to sit in my room, or today I just want to watch TV, and people are respecting that. So that I need that. And there was times that I had to tell people I can't do it, because when people know you're a clinician, they call you with everything. Like, can I talk to you about this? Can I talk? And sometimes I literally had to say, I can't do it today. You're going to have to give me time. I'm overwhelmed myself. So just give me time and I can get back to you. But today I just had to learn to say no, because if I'm not okay, then my son is not okay.
As clinicians, we give out so many
Yes.
scripts and advice and things, but oftentimes we are not taking our own advice and
Right. You're right.
setting boundaries and doing those things. And I'm like, we have to really do better, because we are out here saving the world, but we're not saving ourselves. And that brings me to talking about self-care and the importance of it, because like you said, we have to be able to say no. We have to understand that no is a complete sentence. We have to do things that feel good to us. So self-care can feel impossible for a lot of parents, especially after their children get a diagnosis. How have you redefined what self-care looks like for you?
I have found self care for me, believe it or not, is playing my music. I will come in here, like right outside my office, I have like a gate. And my kids know when that gate is up, oh, mommy is practicing. Like, don't go in there. She's in a zone. That music is so healing. There are different times, like I will hear a song and I'm like, oh, and this song is just playing over and over in my head. And I'm like, oh, when I get home, I'm gonna pick up my bass and learn this song. And so because it's therapeutic to me, my children now are playing instruments. My son is taking drum lessons. My daughter is playing the piano. So I'm like, as opposed to doing something that can cause me harm, I don't want to, go out here and do nothing crazy. I'm like, okay, I have to do something that can help me and that my children can learn that it's productive, because a lot of times when we get overwhelmed, we tend to get into bad things. So I'm just like, let me show them something positive, and what they see me doing, now they want to pick it up. Believe it or not, I love Legos. I am a Lego fanatic. So do Legos. I also love video games. I love a good Madden or a good NBA 2K. And I would sit in my room and just play just to get my mind off of things. So I try to find positive things throughout everything, because when I go to work, I got to deal with that. Then when I come home, it's something else that I have to deal with. So I have to learn to be like, okay, I have to make sure I'm okay, because it's a lot. And being a social worker in Washington, D.C., that's a lot.
Listen, I'm in Florida, so I can relate about what we're currently dealing with, and that self-care is
Yes.
so important. I love that you have different avenues of taking care of yourself. We had a Lego session at the last conference, and I am a gamer. I'm more of a cozy gamer though, so I like Disney Dreamlight and things like that.
Oh, okay.
I can't get too riled up on the game because I'm already
Oh,
riled up in life.
I get riled up. You don't want to see me when I'm playing Madden.
I get riled up in life. I gotta be able to settle down, because I'll be like, yeah, y'all really out here wilding out on this game, and it's gonna get serious.
Oh, it's equivalent to me like spades. It's
Listen, spades is a traumatic experience in our house.
so it's like that. I just like, oh my God, and you thinking you doing it to relax, but
You
let
be
me
ready
throw a ball and somebody drop a ball. I'm like, are you serious? So
yeah, the equivalent to spades. I like that, because that spades can be really it can go left very quickly.
It mess up some relationships.
Listen. I'll have to save that for another podcast episode. And it was traumatic. Some things I saw with on the spades
Oh man,
growing up. We really do need therapy
yes.
after a game. So, but I love that you have all those avenues, and you've mentioned music several times and how it's helped you. Do you see music as a tool for emotional regulation or communication?
Absolutely. I just think and it's healing. It is therapeutic to me. It's healing. And to see my children face when they see like me play in a band, they're like, "Mommy, like you're really really doing it." So I just been playing the bass now for 3 years. And after 6 months, I was a member of a band. So, yeah, so just to see that, to say, like, listen, there's things that you can do that's constructive and positive and still very, very healing. So I love music. Ever since I was a kid, I was always surrounded by music. So to now be where I am in my life and to see music as therapy, and playing the drums had helped my son. It really has helped him. And it's weird because you would think he doesn't really care for loud noise, but he plays the drums. So, but he loves it. Just to see him sit behind a drum set and just play, it's like, this is good, son. This is good. So I definitely cheer him on. I cheer my daughter on as well, with her playing the piano and being a dancer. So I'm like, keep up the good work.
I love that it has been a tool for your family to stay connected, grounded, and to find joy. I love that. What would you say to the parent who feels guilty or overwhelmed at the thought of putting themselves on the list? Because you've talked about how you're in the band, you have your time for you. And a lot of times people feel guilty for putting themselves first. What would you say to that parent who's dealing with that?
So even before my son got diagnosed with working in the social work field, the way I describe it is your child was a part of you for, they say 9 months, but if you count the weeks, it's actually 10. So they know when their parent is not okay. Children are not naive. Children are very, very smart. So there's so many times I'll come in a house and I'm thinking, oh, I had a rough day, but my kid's not going to notice. And they like, mommy, what's wrong? What's wrong? And I tell parents all the time, in order for your children to be okay, you have to be okay. Every child wants their parent to be happy, to be loved, to be okay. And when they see that, it makes them happy. It makes them feel loved. It makes them like, oh my God, my mom is the best thing ever. And it's just, that's what they want to see. I've never seen a child that says, I don't want my mother to be happy, or I don't want my mother to be okay, or not even your mother, your father as well. It's very important for self-care, because the way I think of it is, if something happens to you, then what about your children? So you have to learn to take care of you so you could be a better parent, a better auntie, a better cousin to the child that's around you.
I love that. As we get ready to wrap up, I want to ask you a final question.
Sure.
For the parents listening who just got the diagnosis, who feel uncertain and alone, who don't know how to talk to their family about their child's diagnosis, what's the one message you want them to walk away with?
It's okay not to be okay. It's okay to sit in it, process it, think about it before you disclose it. And it's okay. Like I said, my son was diagnosed in July. I didn't tell my parents or my family until March, because I had to sit with it. I had to make sure, even though I'm in the social work field, that I understand the ins and outs, because people are going to question you. People are going to say, what made you get him evaluated? What are some things that you saw? I took that time to do research myself, to understand certain levels. Even though I was in the social work field, when first became a social worker, Asperger's was in the DSM. Now Asperger's is no longer in the DSM. So I had to go back and learn some things myself. So when the time was right for me to go to my family, I had the information to present to them. Like, okay, this is what he was displaying. This is what I saw. This is what was told to me. These are the services that he's receiving, because you need that support. Because sometimes, like, my husband and I want to go out and stuff. And so you have to teach people how to take care of him. That's a big factor. Like, if I go out, would somebody be able to handle him when he has his meltdowns? Or what are certain things that I have to teach other people to look for? Like, okay, if he's doing this, do this. If he's telling you this is what that means. So I understand the guilt. I went through the guilt. I went through the frustration. I went through why me. I went through, is it something that I did during my pregnancy to cause this? I went through all of that. And when I was finally able to release it is when I did.
I love that. I am a big, big fan of giving yourself grace. 'Cause
Mm-hmm.
there are things that we don't know. There are things that we have to learn. And as professionals, we're taught one way about something, but oftentimes it doesn't quite add up to actually living it. And you have to be able to know that, okay, yeah, the DSM has things in it that aren't there anymore. When my daughter was diagnosed, I think she got pervasive whatever what that diagnosis was at the time. That's
Mm-hmm.
not in the DSM anymore, right?
Mm-hmm.
So her diagnosis has changed, as she's had to be reevaluated based on standards. And like you say, we have to be able to learn. We have to be able to know what's going on, because if I need somebody to come in when I'm gone and take care of my children, I want my children to still have that supportive, healthy environment that I've created. And if I can explain to you, this is how we do it, this is what she's going to need, then you can't quite come up in here and be able to do what I need you to do, right? It's not going to be good for her. It's not going to be good for me, because I'm going to be stressed out. She's not going to feel supported in her environment. So we have to be able to explain those things. And I love that you did take the time for yourself before you went to your family with me. Because sometimes family can make things a little more stressful. I mean, in the beginning, my family was bringing me Google documents and this and that, and trying to be like, well, this is why she's not autistic. And I had to sit them down and be like, this is not helpful to me. You trying to prove she's not is actually more stressful.
It is.
She has a diagnosis, and this is how we support her. Now, either you're supporting her or you not. And if you're not, then you're not going to see her, plain and simple. So, it does take a certain level of being secure in yourself before you have that conversation. And I love that you stress that. Now, where can the people find you if they want to get a session, or if they want to get some information? Where can they go to find out information about you?
So I'm on Facebook as Tia Howard, on Instagram and TikTok, and it's another one now that's out. I can't think. It's so many. Number one MJ fan. So I spell number NUMBA, the number one MJ fan.
Now, is the MJ fan in regards to Michael Jordan?
Michael Jackson.
Oh, okay. I was about to say.
Michael Jackson. Oh, I'm a diehard Michael Jackson fan. Oh my goodness.
Oh, good. That's good to know. I went to Janet's concert in February, and she had a tribute at the end to Michael. That was great.
He is the only celebrity that passed away, and I felt like I lost a family member. That's
a little young when he passed away, but I definitely remember how it was. I was like, oh, this is something. So, if it was Michael Jordan, I was gonna have to be like, but
Michael Jordan?
I have my own beef with that man.
Okay, but no, I get it. But yeah, it's the original MJ, which is Michael Jackson.
There we go. So we'll have all of those links in our show notes where you can connect with Tia. And Tia, thank you so much for being on this episode, for being vulnerable and sharing so much of yourself. Thank you so much.
No problem. I appreciate it. Thanks for the invite.
Of course. And thank you all for listening to another episode of the Autism in Black podcast. And we will catch you on the next episode.